Dale Titus here. Today I'm going to be talking about the Roscoe Century Standard 4J bass guitar. This review is dear to my heart because this bass is actually mine. I contacted the guys at Roscoe Guitars and kind of told them what I was looking to get. They made some amazing suggestions. They threw in a couple surprises. And what I ended up getting was, I honestly can say, the greatest bass I've ever owned. Let me qualify that. There's been basses I've had in the past that are phenomenal instruments. They always seem to have a but about them. And what I mean by that is, this bass sounds great, amazing tone, but it's really heavy. This bass plays wonderfully, but it only has 19 frets. I can honestly tell you, this is the first bass I've owned in my career that has no buts about it. It's a perfectly played, perfectly sounding bass that delivers on every aspect that I needed it to. Now, if you're not familiar, Roscoe Guitars is a U.S. company. Their bases are built in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they build phenomenal instruments that I encourage you to check out either by going to the local Roscoe dealer nearest you or go to their website, which is roscoeguitars.com. Let's get into the construction of this bass so I can share some of the features that I wanted. First of all, the body. The body's swamp ash. And I requested swamp ash. Well, I just strike that. Actually, I requested a light bass that still delivered a ton of punch and warmth. I wanted as big a bottom end as I could without breaking my back playing it. They suggested swamp ash, and it was a brilliant suggestion. The tone is fat. It's punchy. When I slap it, it just kicks you in the chest. It's awesome, but it's also very light. Probably the lightest bass I've ever owned. And I have some neck and back issues, and this bass definitely is the most comfortable to play hour after hour, so I appreciate that. For the finish, they actually suggested the onyx finish, and I'm glad they did. It's a really unique finish that's specific to Roscoe Guitars. The grain pops out as white, but the overall body is a kind of a black. It's a little glossier than satin, but not so glossy that it picks up all fingerprints and smudges and things like that. It's a beautiful body. It's well balanced. It hangs on the strap perfectly. Going to the neck, it's a three-piece maple neck with a maple fingerboard, 24 frets. I requested something they normally don't do, which is dot inlays on the fingerboard. And I do that because I teach quite a few lessons, and my students appreciate having a visual reference as they sit in front of me and I'm teaching them. So Roscoe agreed to put dot inlays on the fingerboard, and they did it brilliantly. The dot inlays are perfect. In fact, to speak to that, the entire fit and finish of this bass is perfect. I couldn't find one element that I wish they would have done differently. Every connection is perfect, every seam is perfect, the finish is perfect. The quality control that Roscoe offers is above reproach. Let's go to the electronics. I'm excited about the electronics. For jazz pickups, I chose Aguilar's new hum-canceling jazz pickups, and not only are they dead nuts quiet. I mean, these are studio quiet. I've recorded several times with them, and the bass records perfectly. But Aguilar pickups have that characteristic which I love, and that is they're incredibly well balanced from string to string, from fret to fret. Those of you who've played jazz pickups in the past, you might have noticed that as you're playing across a scale or a bass line, playing up and down the neck, that at times the actual character of the note changes, either in timbre or even in volume at times. And that can be frustrating, especially when you're in a recording situation. Aguilar pickups are well known for being incredibly well balanced, that every note is matched perfectly to the note previous to it. And I'm here to tell you, that's not hype, that is what they deliver, and I'm really, really excited about these pickups. I matched those with the Aguilar OBP2 preamp. And the guys at Roscoe kind of did a cool wiring thing. It was a surprise. They put it in, and when I got the bass, I was checking it out, and it's amazing. Let me go through it right now. This here is the master volume, and this is the blend with a center detente, so you can blend between the two pickups. Here's my treble and bass on a stack knob, and the unique thing is this passive tone control. Now, when you pull on the volume, you bypass the OBP2, and you have a passive tone control. But what Roscoe did, which was really, I appreciate a lot now, is when the OBP2 is activated, the passive tone control still works. which means if you just want to roll a little bit of highs off but still have the OBP2's character, you can do this with this passive tone control, and it just opens up a whole new world of tones that you can get out of your bass. And I love that, and I'm glad that they did that. So overall, that is the construction of the bass. Everything else I think is pretty obvious. Black hardware, a really great bridge design that I was kind of anxious to get my hands on from the first time I played a Roscoe bass, and it's an amazing quick string change capability, very rock solid, doesn't move. I haven't had to make adjustments on the intonation at all. And I play a lot of styles, and I teach a lot of styles. I use a lot of techniques in my lessons, and this delivers everything from slapping to two-hand tapping to chord melody playing, and it's just absolutely now my favorite bass. And this is it. This is the one I think I'll probably have for the rest of my life, because I can't find a chink in the armor. So I encourage you to, if you're new to Roscoe basses, to check them out. Go, as I said before, to roscoeguitars.com. Check out their Facebook page. If you have any questions, these guys have the best customer service I've met ever. They respond quickly to your questions. They really listen, and they're great at making suggestions to what you want. So even if you don't know how to get it, they do. So reach out to them and make that journey to the Roscoe store nearest you and play the gear. I think you'll really be impressed, and you could just find the bass you've been dreaming about. So thanks for you guys for stopping by and checking it out. And if you have any questions, you can email me at daletitus@daletitus.com. Thank you.